Okay, welcome back once again to 2S, the Horror Quarters podcast.
Yes.
And we're welcoming back once again Spawn.
Yes.
And Corey.
Hello.
What up?
How's it going, fellas?
All right.
Good,
Thank you
good.
for having me back again. Thank you.
Man, anytime. I know you live kind of a far ways out from here, but anytime, man, we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Today, specifically, we wanted to cover, since Scream 2022 came out,
Right.
we kind of wanted to go over that whole franchise.
Absolutely.
There's some hatred coming over from...
I don't say
here,
hatred. I just think, we'll get into it.
But anyways, well, what do you got, man? I mean, tell us your issues with it.
Okay,
So,
well,
are we going to?
let's go to Scream 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you-
we'll start from the...
We'll go theatrical now. No, I love Scream 1. Scream 1, in my opinion, it's not my favorite Wes Craven movie of all times, but it's his absolute best. I think it's flawless. I love all the characters in it. From start to finish, I have no problem with Scream 1. I just feel that Scream is not like Ghostbusters, like Jaws, like Back to the Future. There was another one that we mentioned earlier that didn't need to be a franchise, in my opinion. I think it was a one and done, because every time, if you're watching this, you're a Scream fan, you know the spoilers. Every time there's a different killer, it just saturates it to me. So that's why, as a franchise, I like all five of them, but I think that it didn't need to become a franchise. With that being said, when I saw Scream, it gave me life and hope, because the early 90s, because in the 80s it was all horror for me, and then the early 90s it was such a dry and abysmal time for horror, because you had, like we talked about the previous episode, Leatherface was a bomb. Then you got in 91, you had Freddy's Dead, Last Nightmare or whatever. That was garbage. Then you had Jason Goes to Hell, dog shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like very dry. There was slim pickings in the 90s for quality horror. You had Silence of the Lambs, you had Candyman, People Under the Stairs, here, there. But when Scream came out, dude, it was on, and it gave me hope again and breathed life. And I remember, like, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she wasn't a horror fan, but she got some of the questions in the opening scene. And after that, we went to Hollywood Video. We grabbed all the Halloweens. We grabbed all the Friday the 13th. Okay. It just gave life to the horror genre. And it's just a perfect, like I said earlier, Wes Craven's perfect movie. I don't see any flaws in it. From the opening scene to the closing, I think it's, and then the script by Kevin Williamson is just genius. Is Kevin Williamson?
Yeah, Kevin Williamson.
Yeah, it's just genius. I mean, the meta humor and the way we looked at horror, and we would talk about it amongst our friends. It just sounded like the dialogue that they used in it's like they're eavesdropping. Like the way we would talk about, the nightmares and the Halloweens and all that shit, or talk about how fine Jamie Lee Curtis was and how she didn't show her shit until she went legit. You know what I mean? So I just, I have no beef, no ill will towards Scream 1. I think it's genius. I love the little Freddy Krueger cameo where it's Craven as the janitor, Freddy, Henry Winkler as the principal. Linda Blair as one of the reporters. I have no qualms with it. I think everybody was believable and likable, which is important. I talked about it a couple episodes back on Halloween. There's nothing worse than unlikable characters, and you're more invested in a movie when you like all the characters. I liked everybody, dude. And when like what's his name's girl, Christina Ricci's character, I forgot her name. When she got it, I felt it.
Christina Ricci.
Not Christina Ricci. The one in the garage.
Oh, Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan. Yes, I always get those two mixed up.
Dewey's sister.
Dewey's sister. When she got it, hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think Dewey's got it, you know what I'm saying? You feel it. So I mean, it's just a perfect flick. So I don't got no problem with that one. We'll get to the ones that I have problems with. There it is. I got that same box set right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, another thing that I really loved about it is it was familiar, but it was different. You know what I mean? And the decisions that those characters made was not idiotic, like we talked about in when the last time we were all here about the Texas Chain and bad decision making. It was just all right. So I'm a hip hop fan, and like I was all about the 90s hip hop, and then I didn't listen to hip hop for a long time, and then I got into underground, and to find something that sounded familiar, it was refreshing. Like when I came across Jedi Mind Tricks or like Immortal Technique, and they come from the cloth of the Wu-Tang and Black Moon and Hieroglyph, like that type of, and that's what Scream 1 was. Where were you when you came across it? Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah, I did,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
You kind of answered your own complaint in a way. I can't really say for sure if the 90s was slim pickings, because you mentioned some good films, which was
Right.
Silence of the Lambs, you had Candyman, Seven was another really
Right,
good
but
film.
that was before.
I
That
mean,
was before.
that can
Yeah.
be considered a horror
Yep.
film. So there was some good stuff in the 90s. Jacob's Ladder was another really good
Right.
film that's very underrated.
Right.
So I don't necessarily.
Maybe I'm thinking slasher. Maybe.
I probably have to research it some more, but I'm not too sure if the 90s is really a bad time for horror. It may have really been a better time, because what I noticed was, I think, and I don't want to dwell too much into Silence of the Lambs, but I think Silence of the Lambs started to mark a change in where we were going with horror.
Right.
More grounded, grounded antagonists that could exist in the real world.
Right.
They weren't the mythical boogeymen like Michael Myers,
Freddy.
Jason Voorhees, or Freddy Krueger, which kind of leads me to Ghostface. I think Ghostface is kind of got one foot in that world and one foot in the world of Halloween, because it is a mass slasher. But like I said, like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface and Ghostface are both kind of grounded characters.
Right.
They, with a little luck, a little moxie, you could actually defeat these characters.
Right.
But I enjoyed the film. What I liked about the film, I'm thinking about it, and whoever's watching this, feel free to write in and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it went against the type. I mean, it breathed new. I'm trying to talk. It breathed fresh air into the slasher genre by kind of like taking the tropes and kind of turning them on their head.
Absolutely.
Perfect example is The Final Girl. Sidney Prescott was different than Laurie Strode and all the other final girls that came after Laurie Strode. In the fact that, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the fact that she lost her virginity,
Right.
and she still was able to, become the hero and save the day, and
Right.
vanquish the villain. And typically one of the rules in the movies is that the final girl doesn't lose her virginity. That's why she always survives,
Right.
because
She's pure
She has this
and-
virginal
yeah.
purity, and that was Sidney Prescott was a real
Right.
young woman.
Right.
That like most teenagers, hormones are raging, and she acted on them.
Right.
Another thing I liked about the series, and this goes from one all the way up to the current one, is that Ghostface could be anybody. I like the fact that in some of the movies, Ghostface was a female.
Right.
Other movies, Ghostface was a male.
Right.
Which because I understand there are a lack of truly standout female villains, and horror bad guys are really still a domain of guys.
Right.
And nothing wrong with that, because we've got some of the most memorable horror villains.
Right.
But also, too, to me, evil's not gender specific. Anybody can do something horrible to another person. Doesn't
Right.
matter who you are. And I think that was kind of cool with Ghostface. I think too also why this franchise really resonates with people, I think, is because, in a way, kind of like how Kevin Feige has kind of been the guiding hand for the Marvel movies. Scream has really been the vision of really one person.
Right.
Technically two, which is Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven.
Right.
Whereas
Wes
like
executed it. Kevin.
it's always been one person
Right.
guiding it, one person's vision from the beginning
Right.
to the end. Whereas like if you look at Halloween, Friday the 13th, it's each movie there's a different director, different producers sometimes,
Right.
and they're going to come in with with a different idea, and sometimes
Right.
they may not want to acknowledge what came before. They
Yeah.
might want to do it all over again. But Scream has been pretty consistent throughout, and I think there's a certain comfort and familiarity that people like with that.
Right.
Coming back to to that franchise. The characters are wonderful. I mean, it's Scream is probably the textbook definition of a fun horror movie.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You juxtapose that to like Terrifier.
Right.
Scream is just fun. It's not one of these things where
Not heavy. Like I was telling him when we did the Texas Chain the last time, I said, to binge watch the Texas Chainsaw, especially the ones from the 2000s, the tone's so heavy that I can't binge watch it like I would Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, when they're a little bit more fun and easier to process, easier to digest. You know what I mean? They're very heavier. You know what I mean? So I totally agree with you. Scream is easy. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's very easy to digest, and this is good fun, from start to finish. As far as Wes Craven films, where do you rank it as for him?
Well,
it's not my favorite Wes Craven, but I feel it's his best.
Believe it or not, I'm trying to think of all the Wes Craven films. I haven't seen every single Wes Craven film. Shame on me. I haven't seen Serpent in the Rainbow.
Deadly Friend?
I never saw Deadly Friend.
Oh, dude,
I remember when
shit.
it came out. I missed it. I have The Hills Have Eyes. I just haven't watched it yet. I also have Last House on the Left. I haven't watched it yet.
Those are heavier.
I mean, I guess if I had to come down, look. It really comes down to it. We have to compare his two most famous franchises, which is
Nightmare on Elm Street
and Scream. And I had to see just on a first movie basis. I think I like Nightmare on Elm Street a bit.
Absolutely.
More than Scream.
Right, but I still think that Wes Craven. I mean, I feel that Scream is a superior movie to Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm the biggest Freddy fan. That was the one that he was like my go-to in the '80s.
Well, superior how? Because I'm curious.
Okay, so I've never liked the end of A Nightmare on Elm Street 1. When they snatch, and not to go on a tangent on another franchise, but when they snatch the mother through the thing, it just looks so corny, and it just wasn't definitive. And Scream, not in my movie, she bucks Loomis in the head. It's a wrap. They could have ended the franchise there if they wanted to, and it's definitive in a good way, in a positive way.
No, that's really interesting. I mean, and that's very subjective, but it's respectable. Some people like a definitive ending. Some people like a more ambiguous ending, and even if there was never any Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, the fact that the way it ended, we know that he's still out there.
Right.
And that's a really powerful image to leave with. And that's one of the things I thought, once again, I know we're jumping another tangent. Why Halloween was so good at, original was the way it ended.
Right.
He's gone,
Right.
Is he still there? Where's he? Of course the sequels answer that question.
Right.
But, Elm Street was really well done. I don't want to delve into Elm Street, but I kind of feel like you don't get Sidney Prescott without Nancy Thompson.
I'm sorry, say that again. Can you say that again? Because I want him to hear that.
you don't get Sidney Prescott without Nancy Thompson.
Thank you.
And you don't get Nancy Thompson without Laurie Strode.
Right. But that's why she's the baby of them.
But I really like Sidney Prescott, and that's the thing I was going to come back. The characters are so likable.
Right,
I mean,
all of them.
Sure. They're just
even the antagonist. Well, she was considered kind of like on the antagonist side, which was
Gale.
Yeah, Gale's Weathers.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about it's like there's more to Gale than just on the surface he seems a very shallow person.
Very Lois Lane-ish.
Lois Lane was never quite as shallow as Gale, but when you see her, it seems like she'll do anything to get the scoop. But when you really, you start to really peel away layers, you see that Gale has a heart of gold.
Right.
And she cares, and she evolves through the movies. She never lets you forget she's still Gale Weathers, but she definitely evolves throughout the series. I'm trying to think of what else I could say about this series. It's it's in the first movie is really just really good. Like I said, it turned to slasher trope, and it was one of the. I won't say it was the first movie to be. I hate the term, lack of a better term, meta.
Right.
Because I like to say that Kevin Smith was probably doing that before Scream came out.
Right. Because
he was the one that was doing the Star Wars references and jokes and talk about movies, but. Scream was the first ones to really put into a horror movie,
right?
And to tell the audience, these films are kind of goofy and fun, and we know the
right. Because some people say that the first one to do that was Nightmare on Elm Street. Friday the 13th Part 6. So what say you? I know this is one of your go-to franchises. You have a lot of love for Scream.
Yeah.
Where were you when you saw it the first time?
It was 96, right?
Right, right, and in 96, yeah.
Yeah, I think I just got back from Vegas. I was up in Victorville at the time, living there. And went and saw it. And, obviously the opening scene is very memorable.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah, I felt that the constant swerve in it.
Right.
There's a constant swerve. You don't know who it is. Is it Spawn? Is it Corey?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Leia? You don't know. And
is it Hitchcock behind you?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that always kept me going. And Scream is one of those franchises, probably the only one that I can think of as of yet that it's hard for me to criticize.
Really.
Speaking about Gale Weathers, this is a character that's shallow, but she gave you the perspective of the viewers, you know, because we can see what her inside was, you know, in her relationship with Dewey, but we can also see what she's telling the public,
right?
You know, of that world,
right?
You know, she's that middle conduit, that perfect conduit, that to me is, I mean, of course, Sidney's the backbone,
right?
But I think Gale Weathers is a close second. None of the characters to me bothered me,
right?
You know, we talked about that a lot. Well written,
yep.
You know, and you know, the mask and everything is flimsy and as kind of. I mean, it's
I
cool.
dig the mask. When I first saw
dope.
it was love at first sight with me.
Right, but I'm saying it's a mask that I think, generally speaking, in that world you can go buy anywhere, right?
Right.
Which up the stakes even more because anyone can go in there and buy it.
Right.
Right.
Well, it goes back to what I'm saying. I think anyone could be Ghostface.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah. So I mean, the first one to me is
right. It's a perfect film.
Yeah, I'd say perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
I can't think of any like flaws with it.
No.
I you know, I mean, the execution was there.
No bad
Stu and Billy, they were great.
No bad decisions.
No
on
bad
characters,
decisions
right?
on characters.
Is that
Yeah.
fair? No
Yeah.
stupid decisions from
Yep.
anybody. You know.
Yep. And
I got a friend of mine in San Diego. He doesn't like it. He's really knowledgeable of horror movies. His name's Chris.
yeah.
Okay.
He's not a fan of it. He thinks it insults his intelligence. But
All of them
to each
as
their
a
own.
whole, or just
Well, I think the first one in particular because it was so meta. You know, I think
yeah.
But you know,
I get it.
I respect his opinion. You know, to each
Right.
their own.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with the first one. Again, I feel, I mean, I'm one of the minority that thinks that it should have been Scream and that's it. You know what I mean? We still could have had Ghostface. Still could have been popular. Look at Trick or Treat. I know it's not as popular as Scream, but you know, I just think it was a one and done. I feel the same way about Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, and a few others. Jaws.
I think we're getting a sequel to Trick or Treat. I heard.
I hope so.
Yeah, but they've
man.
been saying that for a while.
I hope so. Trick or Treat is the shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But I mean, I just think it's a one and done, in my opinion. But that's, I mean, you know, I'm not mad at any of the five. They're all strong except for three. You know, when I saw two, we could, if we want to segue all the way to two, I remember the hype going into two. I mean, it was like I mean, there hasn't been the horror community hasn't buzzed like that at that point in '97 in at least a good 10 years at that point. Like I remember the buzz leading into it. Like I remember the last buzz that I could remember for a movie like Scream 2 was probably Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. I remember at school everyone was thinking that was it. I remember that was like a big buzz. You know what I'm saying?
I would say prior to Scream 2, the biggest buzz for a horror movie, and once again, it was a sequel to a Craven film, was The Dream Master.
Dream Warriors?
No, Dream Master.
Okay.
Because Dream Warriors put the series back on track.
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah.
But
I think
and Dream Warriors was big. People were talking.
Yeah.
About
Oh no. We'll talk about that at another time.
But when Dream Master came out, people. I mean, I remember I went to the theater,
and you know, I stand corrected. Yes.
Theater. I had never been in a theater that packed to see. I mean, Freddie Mania was at an all-time.
Oh yes,
high.
absolutely. And I agree with you. Yeah, and I forgot about that. But yeah, no. And also when Halloween 4. Halloween 4, there was a giant buzz because he's been gone for so long and he returned back. So it's been at least at that point 9 years that there's been a buzz in the horror community that I could remember. Besides because Halloween 4, I remember because you know when you're a kid, I remember the hype up for it.
Yeah,
was
I mean,
huge,
yeah,
you know.
it had been a good 6 years since we had Michael Myers, or at least a Halloween film.
Yeah.
Also, too, with the original film too, was that Scream is was a term that's been used a lot, but Scream was a sleeper hit.
Right.
No one saw Scream coming.
Right.
You know, I think it was around winter of, and it was really
it was like Christmas of '96.
It was a very unorthodox time to release a horror movie.
Yeah, like I was like two months after Halloween. You know.
Yeah, and the movie just in a way was kind of like Titanic, where word of mouth, it just each week.
Well, the Titanic they were hyping, but this thing was a surprise. Definitely sleeper hit.
But people thought, you know, Titanic would be done after a couple of weeks, and it kept going.
Oh,
and I think that's the same thing for Scream. Scream kept just chugging right along. Next thing you know, this movie hit 100 million.
Yeah.
And that hadn't been done in a horror movie at that point.
Yep.
At least I can't think of anything that hit 100 million.
Yeah, because not even Dream Master or Warriors got that. They were like in the 20s, 30s.
Well, I think when it was all said and done, I think Dream Master may have made 70 something. It was
Right.
But this film did like 100 million, like a little over 100 million. It was the sleeper hit of that year.
Yeah, and the set off is not only the mask and the characters; it's the voice, brother. The voice.
Yeah.
Oh, the voice of Scream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roger Jackson.
Yeah.
And that carried on, man, because again, it could be a girl, it could be a guy. I mean, we didn't know that early on in the first one, right? You know, but that voice where you can't identify it with any characters that you've seen, you know, on screen, you're like, okay, well, who the hell?
What did
is
you?
he?
What was your opinion of the climax with Bill and Stewie, where they do the reveal?
I don't remember being blown away because I was expecting something. I didn't pick them two at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I was just expecting something, you know. And I
Right.
thought, okay, this could live on. They can carry this on
Right.
for, you know, on and on.
Oh, you thought that? So you thought there would be a lot more sequels?
Oh
and-
yeah,
Okay.
just for the very.
I knew there were going to be sequels because, of course, Hollywood doesn't give a shit what we think.
Well, the very nature of
But, like,
of it,
the
you know.
quality I didn't expect to. It never dropped
Right.
until I think 3, in my opinion. But the quality, they're all good movies.
Shout out to Halloween, you know, in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end, that's
Right.
the clip they were playing at
Right.
the party and stuff, and you know, just a universal way to, you know, serve up a killer with a voice that could be anyone's. You know,
Well, what I like about it too is that, and this goes through the entire series, is they're basically Scooby Doo movies for adults.
sure.
You know, it's you know, it's basically Scooby Doo without Scooby and Shaggy.
Right.
You know, it's basically, you
Well,
know,
Shaggy's in the. He dies. He was Stewie. I was Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, you know, yeah, I guess, yeah. But my thing is, like, you know, you look at Dewey, Gale, and Sidney as basically Fred, Daphne, and Velma.
Right.
And which I'd probably say that, you know, well, I would say that Gale is the Velma character, because Gale Weathers is really smart too. She knows how to research and put pieces together.
Right, and she has that feeling like if something's off,
She's
can
an
sense it.
investigative
Yeah.
reporter, so she knows how to, like, you know, connect the dots. So, and I thought that was cool because each movie, you know, it always winds up unmasking the killer,
Right.
like a Scooby Doo cartoon. And I think it was, you know, people really
Right.
enjoyed that.
So 2, like, again, the hype
sorry.
up for 2, like you said, I mean, it was
Two
a
big.
buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the opening scene was okay.
Oh, that was with your homegirl, right?
Yeah.
Jada, right?
Jada,
Yeah.
and Jada and Omar Epps.
Yep.
Now, had she been with Will at the time, he would have slapped the shit out of
Right, right.
Ghostface, and it would have been over.
Just
It'd
had
have
to
been a
go there,
wrap.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Just had to
It'd
go
have been a
there.
wrap.
Yeah, it would have been a 15-minute movie. But I didn't like her death scene. I mean, like, I just when she goes, and it was just like, I kind of.
Her scream was dope, though. Her scream.
No,
was,
her scream was good, and that whole scene, the whole bathroom scene, I thought was very, very strong, and very weird when you hear the
very
weird
bizarre.
noise.
Right.
And then when he gets stabbed, and then he comes back with the leather jacket or whoever that was, and but just when she just falls, I kind of like rolled my eyes a little bit, and I was like, oh, I don't know on this one. So
Yeah.
I like Scream 2.
Scream 2 has my favorite scene in the whole franchise when they get caught in the back seat of the police car.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And they have to climb over Ghostface, and
cool.
the tension in the theater. Everyone was like, "Oh shit!" And I'm an '80s kid, 70s baby, '80s kid, and I'm desensitized as fuck. But not at that moment. At that moment, nails are being bitten, and I'm like nervous, and just them climbing over, and then the one bad decision, in that movie. Is where she goes, I have to know. I got to take that mask off. And then when she goes back, he's gone. And then her girl gets it. Oh, that's so well executed from start to finish. You know what I mean? That whole
Craven.
scene, yeah, Scream 2, man.
Wes Craven.
Yeah, Wes Craven just pulled that off immaculately. You know what I mean? I wasn't crazy about the boyfriend in Scream 2.
Jerry O'Connell?
Yeah, and I like him as an actor. Just the whole Top Gun singing thing, that was whack to me. I started disliking some of the characters. The guy's a great actor. He was in The Mandalorian recently. He was the other killer with Billy Loomis's mom.
Yeah.
The Tarantino-esque.
Was it Timothy Olyphant?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So he was a little over the top and very just just chewing up the scene and just ridiculous to me. I wasn't feeling him. I love I always forget her name, but she's from Roseanne.
Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah, Laurie Metcalf. I thought she was excellent
Yeah,
in that role.
I mean,
menacing. Her eyes. What she does with her eyes. I mean, actors would train years for that.
Unlike a certain other horror movie franchise, I thought this was a much better maternal killer than another mother who was a frequent Crystal Lake.
Oh no! Pam,
he's a hater. He's a hater.
Really?
Friday
I
Adrian King.
Yeah,
Friday
I
13th.
like Billy Loomis' mom was way cooler than Pamela Voorhees.
No way, Pamela Voorhees was amazing.
Yes.
Her noise set off a franchise. Kill, mommy, kill. You know what I'm saying? She was, I'm telling you,
Right.
I love Pam Voorhees.
I'll take Billy Loomis' mom.
Yeah, she got shot. She got out easy. Voorhees took the machete to the neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, two started to he started to introduce characters that kind of got on your nerves. Like, what was his name? Jerry
O'Connell? Or?
Yeah, he was such a putz to Sidney, right?
Right.
She wasn't even feeling him.
Right.
And you kind of felt bad for him in a sense. And then he jumps up on the table and does that whole
Yeah.
scene, which was whack.
Yeah.
That was.
You got the sorority girls, right?
Right. They were okay.
That
I wasn't mad at them.
By design.
That was interesting because the first one to get killed was Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was Buffy.
Right.
Right.
She was great.
But the other three, though, you got the Noxzema girl,
right,
and the other two, with Ellen's wife.
Yeah.
Or Ellen's girl. Yeah. But again, by design, I thought two carried the story on well to the college.
I was upset that they killed my man.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah,
I was
he got it.
disappointed. I really wanted him to go on because out of all the characters, that was the one that was most familiar to
Randy
me.
Meeks.
That was us.
Yeah.
Randy Meeks.
Yeah.
Which was a good kill in broad daylight.
Yeah.
He mentions OJ in that scene too.
Right.
Showgirls.
He had the best lines.
Right.
It's funny because I see his podcast. He goes, "I don't even know why I did a British accent." When he's like, "And he would got away with it too,"
Right.
like when he does the
Oh,
British.
yeah.
He's like, "I don't even know why I did a British accent. I just did it."
Right.
So
No,
Wes
but
was like that.
I thought it was executed well. It took you from high school obviously to college now,
Right.
into that campus, into that world, and executed it well.
Right.
A film student, right?
Right.
See,
But I want to be famous. Blah, blah, blah,
there's a F up, or maybe not a F up in that movie. So you remember in the film class when Kevin Williamson's teaching the
Right.
class, and it's stay away from her, you bitch.
Right.
And
He got the line wrong.
he got the line wrong when he corrected him.
Yeah.
And they went on with the scene.
Yeah.
Get away from her, you. Isn't
Yeah.
this? Yeah. He says,
Yeah.
"Get away from her, you bitch."
Yeah. This is film class, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he was actually wrong.
Yeah,
With
he
the
was
line
wrong,
from
yeah.
Aliens, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was by design.
No, it wasn't. He said that they fucked up the line, and he goes, but there was no Google back then, and da 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 da.
Your boy from Dawson's Creek said.
James Vanderbeek.
He said no, the other cat, Joshua Jackson.
Oh,
He's the one that said, "Get away from her, you bitch."
yeah, he said it right.
He said it right.
Yeah, and then Jamie Kennedy said it wrong, and clowned him, but he had it wrong the whole time.
he had it wrong,
Yeah.
right? And then it started to identify itself as a sequel and carry
Right,
on
and
those
they had
rules.
the rules,
you know what
which I
mean?
dug.
Right. Yeah, I can dig that. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it's when I was talking to earlier, last time we were talking. This show was like a recruiting ground for all those WB actors and actresses.
Oh, yeah. When you mentioned that on the Texas Chain episode, yeah.
Or on Fox, on Fox network,
Right.
Because Nev came from Party of Five,
Right. So did Jessica Love Hewitt.
Yeah, who's in the
I know what you did.
that
Jennifer.
summer, which is kind of that's a result of Scream. Then you had Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy, because Buffy was extremely popular when that show came on. Buffy
Right.
was at the peak
Sure.
of its popularity. But then you had Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Jamie Kennedy may have been on some show too or something.
Right,
but
probably.
He's from that generation of actors. Jerry O'Connell. So it was just interesting. All those young actors,
Right.
were making their bones in horror movies.
Yeah, and then
all.
Jada and Omar Epps, they kept up the stereotype that the brothers don't make it past the opening credit scene, and then they got killed before the opening credit scene. The little things like that I thought were fun.
I don't look at it. I don't know.
That was always the knock. Every comedian in the '80s,
Yeah,
that was their go-to. Like,
it wasn't
brothers
not,
don't make it in horror movies.
But actually no, because remember, what's the name did survive?
Kincaid?
Dwayne Martin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the newspaper man. So I think they were trying to they kind of faked you out a little bit in the beginning, but then
Dwayne Martin lived. Yeah.
But see how Jada was treating dude? I wonder if that's a taste of. I'm just saying.
I'm not going there.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, dude. I mean, she got it, and I was kind of happy to see her get it. So
it was a slap in the face for sure.
You know, nice. I see what you did there.
I did.
Yeah.
But what did you think? I see. Like every time there's a new killer, to me it just dilutes it. Like how I could see Mrs. Loomis being crazy because her son was crazy. It's in the bloodline. But then it was a stretch with the dude. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. But are we into 3 now?
No, I haven't touched 3 yet. Okay. I'm talking about the.
You're talking Timmy Oliphant's character.
Yeah, and
what was the stretch?
Just him just being as crazy as he was is so over the top that it takes me out of it. So. The movie itself, like I said, it has my favorite scene in the Scream franchise. I'm like this, and then it's full. I fold my arms when I see him.
It was kind of cringy, right? The end there, yeah. He's all that. What do you say? The story will practically tell itself, or something like that. It was
all that stuff.
It was over the top.
Yeah, and then that's when it becomes fold your arms. Oh, okay, here we go. And so that's why. I liked it, but I didn't like the killers, and that's why I think that it should have just been one and done with the Loomis, you know what I'm saying, and Stewie or Stu or whatever. But I don't want to harp on that the whole time. But yeah, no, it was great, and it's so well done. Another Wes Craven, he was great in it. The dialogue was incredible, and I'm big on dialogue. Very funny lines. They shit on the Ewoks, which always gets points with me. You know what I mean?
Shout out Ewoks.
Considering what came after it,
that's true. I'll take an Ewok over
any day of the week.
Turtleneck pants, Kylo Ren.
Porgs.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Jar Jars. So I get it.
Right.
But I didn't think 3 was going to be as bad as it was. I was hoping for a strong stick the landing finish on 3, and to this day, I can't. It's hard. It's work for me to watch 3.
3 is the one people shit on the most. Corey, what'd you think of 3?
I just watched it yesterday, and I didn't think it was all that bad. I do think some of the characters do get a little silly. In particular, Parker Posey's character.
That's one of my least favorite actors of all time. Sorry.
She's a good actress. I just think that character was just a little too much.
Right.
Look, at this point we know that Scream is meta, and it's making fun of the very thing that it is.
Right.
And I think they were doing a little bit too much, nailing 2 months on the head with the whole Hollywood thing.
Right.
And being on the sets and stuff. And,
right.
In hindsight, you didn't really need Jay and Silent Bob in the movie. Kevin Smith shows up for a minute.
Right.
See what I mean?
Right. But also too, you got to remember too.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
But you also
look just like her. I was up for the role as Princess Leia. Like, come on, bro.
I was gonna say. Also too, you got to remember too. This was Dimension Films, which was a subsidiary of Miramax. And was all one big happy family. Kevin Smith was under that family because Miramax was putting out his movies.
Right.
So I get it, but I'm just.
Was that around the same time as Resurrection?
Oh, Halloween Resurrection?
Yeah, Halloween Resurrection around the same time as Scream 3.
You know what? Because Scream 3 came out in the 2000s.
Well, Scream 3 came out in 2000, February 2000.
Just two. Okay, so it was 2 years before Resurrection. Yeah. Resurrection was 2002.
Right. Okay. Just trying to see the connection of the corniness there.
No. Dimension.
Shout out.
We outrank you now. We outrank you.
Well, Dimension Pictures. I mean, they made their bones on horror. That was Miramax's subsidiary to do low to medium budget range horror movies, and it worked. I mean, they
did Urban Legend, right?
They did a lot of stuff. A lot of your horror movies from the mid 90s. Right. Mid 90s all the way through, through like the early 2000s was, to me, the company that's putting out those horror movies at the time, or the premier company, was Dimension Pictures. And then I think at one point in the 2000s, Lionsgate took over with the Saw franchise and all the stuff they were doing. They started becoming the go-to studio.
Right, now it's Blumhouse.
Yeah, now it's Blumhouse. So they go through cycles. Every few years, it's one studio.
A24.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, every studio comes out, and you can understand why these films are not expensive to make. That's another reason I was going to go back to Scream 1. Scream was probably the biggest hit of '96 because it didn't cost that much money to make Scream. Probably the highest paid actor was Drew Barrymore,
right,
in that series,
who was incredible. We didn't talk about how good she was,
right.
And the movie made gangbusters. It did. Not to mention what Scream did on home video,
right?
Yeah,
I got it. That opening when it came out on Tuesday at Walmart back in So it dropped in 96. I think it was out on VHS in like April of 97.
Well, you got to remember too.
And I grabbed it that Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like
Scream also hit the theaters.
Or was it October of 97?
Right before the dawn of DVD. Because DVD really came on the scene in 97. But DVD didn't really pick up steam until 99 after The Matrix came out and everybody
wanted the clean version of
So, but Scream 3, I liked it. I liked the whole thing with the brother because here's the thing too. Once again, and I don't want to genderize, but we're in a stage where we talk about diverse roles for women and stuff like that. I think it's good to like have women play less than noble characters because typically in horror movies, all the bad stuff or the things that are set in motion are done by men. But especially after watching Scream 3, you could kind of argue probably the biggest villain in the entire series is Maureen Prescott, and she's not even alive.
Right.
And the fact that she had this child that she abandoned.
Right.
And so he was in a way, nothing really justifies cold-blooded murder.
Right.
But you understand his anger and his resentment towards Sidney, and why this mother, I'm a child, I want my mother, and my mother, has cut me off. She wants to leave this world behind. As she was Rena Reynolds, whatever, the actress she played. That doesn't exist to me. You don't exist to me. That's hard, for a child. So I liked his motivation. He's probably arguably the toughest Ghostface opponent for Sidney. I mean,
you think so?
I mean, he was really laying on, slamming her head against the wall and stuff. I mean, more so.
Right.
I gotta Billy. Maybe I have to relook at Billy Loomis again. But I mean, Scott Foley, who played the character, what was his name? Roman.
Roman, yeah. The
what was the last name? It was a common last name too. But he was really tit for tat with her. I mean, going at it, and maybe because they're sisters and brothers, that they both had that spirit, that fighting spirit in them. I liked it, but like I said, it is sillier in many ways than the rest of them with the surrounding cast. The one girl, Emily Mortimer, who played, she was probably the actress that was playing Sidney. And
the second time.
Yeah, she was kind of like a little goofy, and so
and then what's his name thought he was gonna die, so he left a video. So he had Jamie Kennedy had a cameo. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. I was just over it. You know what I mean? Like it was just to me it was just hard to get through, and I just couldn't wait for it to be over. And it was a shame because I love 1 and I'm very fond of 2. I just think that it just kills it every time there's a new killer under the mask. To have somebody be that brutal or that it's just a reach. You know what I mean? Like Freddy, Jason, they could come back and that's just in their nature, and Mike, you know what I'm saying? But to have someone brand new plot this out, you know what I'm saying? To how many devious criminal serial killer masterminds are there in this fucking universe of theirs?
I see your point. It's kind of like Die Hard. How many times McClane gonna run into terrorists? Right. Really, Die Hard probably should have stopped at 1.
Right. That's another one. But I love 2 and 3.
But I like 2 more. Yeah. But I liked how it connected to Sidney. I mean, I thought that was cool. To me, it wasn't too far-fetched that she had a brother she never knew about.
It's I mean, Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that was
Strode. You know what I'm saying? Like them being brothers and sisters. I just it's been done before.
Well, here's another interesting thing
and that's I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here's another interesting thing about Scream 3. Just like the 2022 movie that we'll talk about here in coming up shortly, Sidney's not really in it all that much.
Right.
Really, a lot of the movie centers around Gale and Dewey running around trying. And Sidney doesn't really come into midway through the movie, and then even then, she's sitting on the sidelines at the police station until the killer calls her out, and she has to come and save the day more or less.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting, which in a way wasn't. I like Sidney, but it shows how strong Gale and Dewey are as characters as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I honestly, looking back, now are we allowed spoilers?
Of course.
For those who haven't seen Scream 2022, I'm about to reveal a major spoiler. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Dewey got killed off, which bummed me out because I really like Dewey. Right, like
Vito said, my buddy Vito, he said Dewey got the Han Solo treatment.
I can conceivably see a movie just around Dewey and Gale. I think they're strong. Although I like the trio. I think they're strongest together. And that's one of the selling points of that whole franchise, and I'm going to miss that moving forward with these sequels. You know, that they don't have Dewey anymore. Now, what would be really interesting is to see how Gale is going to be. Maybe we should say that for the conversation in 2022. I don't mean to jump too far. So sorry about that, Mike. I didn't mean it, but
no, it's all good. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll come back to that.
My thing with 3 is that the whole brother and sister's been done, and for a franchise that kind of reinvented the wheel, so to speak, when it comes to slashers, it was a disappointment. You know what I mean? Because Billy and Stu and having 2 killers, that was what I can't think of any movie that had 2 killers.
But see, that was a cool thing. They didn't.
That was what's dope.
They went with 1 killer.
Well, no. But I'm just saying. So, but the brother and sister was the rehash, and the thing that we've seen, whether it be Star Wars or whether it be Halloween, it's just the relation thing was done. I was done by 3. I don't know. It was just where I was in my life. I was just done with Scream 3. You know, I was just disappointed. It's not one of the ones where I would drop the remote. If I'm watching Change the Channels and Scream 2's on and it's with the bad words and everything, I would drop the remote and still watch it. 3, I just keep changing channels. You know, I'm not a fan of that. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, you suspend your disbelief as much as you can, right? But you got the scene where all the actors are in the trailer and the killer's faxing the.
Yeah. It's in the house actually.
Or in the house. That was a bit much.
Yeah.
And he's standing there reading it, going, "It's gonna blow," or whatever he says. And it got a little more far-fetched.
Yeah, that lethal weapon type explosion seemed a little beyond Scream's range. Like, do we really need that type? Like that.
Yeah.
John McTiernan, Joe Silver era action explosions, but also too, and I'll bring one of the problems, and I guess I was saying in a roundabout way, the supporting stars aren't as cool to me in Scream 3.
Right.
I when we move to the next one, I definitely like the supporting cast in the next one better than.
Yeah, this is Iron Mike's.
But
favorite.
I like Scott Foley. I thought Scott Foley was cool. I did.
Who's Scott Foley?
Yeah, I thought he was cool as Ghostface, her brother. I thought he was cool.
Oh, okay.
But the supporting cast, Parker Posey,
Parker Posey, I can't stand.
What's her name? Emily Morton. No, they're all. She's a good actress. Parker Posey's. I liked her better in Blade 3.
No.
Then
we'll get on that.
But Blade 3 is not a good movie. No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I liked her better in Blade 3 than in Scream. But Emily Mortimer, they're all wonderful actors and actresses. I saw Emily Mortimer in a really cool movie with Chiwetel Ejiofor called Red Belt, something I call like Karate Kid for adults. But and Patrick Warburton, he was cool in it. He's a good actor. I mean, like I said, these characters.
What did you think about what's his name dying in the opening scene? To have a dude die in the opening scene,
once again,
which I thought was cool.
Once again, it shows you because these are all the.
What's the character's name?
Cotton Weary. Liev Schreiber. Yeah. These are all the core people from the original movie, and one thing they always tell you with Scream is like, no one's really safe.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in the next movie they do kill Sidney off.
Right.
I don't want to see that happen. I really like Sidney Prescott, and I like Gale and Dewey. But one thing about it is like no one's safe in this world, so it is what it is. So
I thought how they had the movie set built for her, and Sidney ended up on the movie set.
Right.
It was surreal for her character to actually have lived that.
Right.
And then now she's on a set in that city of that house.
That was a cool little swerve.
You know what I mean? That was very interesting. But getting to 4 I enjoy a lot, and it actually rivals 1, the original.
Nice.
To me, because, because at this point there had been a gap, right? Years-wise from 3, what was the gap?
Like a 14-year gap?
10, I think it was 11-year gap.
11-year gap.
Yeah, because
2000 was 3.
Was 3 No, 3 wasn't 2000.
Yeah, 3 was like February.
01, I thought. Was it 2000?
Yeah, okay. February 2000.
So 2011 came out.
Look it up.
2011.
Well,
yeah. So 2011 it came out, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, you grow old with these characters, So when we come back to 4, you see them all. You see Sidney now, older, mature, wrote a book.
Right.
Looking a little older, and
still
everybody's
great though.
Still everybody's weathered.
Right.
Everybody's lived.
Right.
And you kind of ride that with them. So coming back, and you get to see them looking down upon high school kids now,
right,
and seeing how they're running stuff. So 4 for me, and like somebody touched on some of the shots earlier about the blurred edges and things. Okay. I don't know if that was you.
No.
Or maybe it was Vito.
Yeah.
How it was shot at night.
On the last one?
On 4.
Oh, okay.
How it looked, the edges looked soft, and a lot of the night shots and stuff like that. I like that touch. The swerve on that, who was the killers? It was, what's his name?
It was the niece, and then Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Emma Roberts and Karen, right.
She to me is the best Ghostface. Yeah. The most vicious. And she put in work on Sidney.
Even her explanation at the end wasn't cringy.
Yeah, it wasn't cringy at all.
Rageful,
I
you know
felt
what I mean?
it.
Yeah, you definitely.
She wanted to be internet famous.
Yeah, exactly. So
And she was vicious.
it was strong, man.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I like it. I'm sorry.
Yo, go ahead.
I liked it a lot. I like it better than 3. I did. I mean, overall, it's a much better movie. I really like Hayden Panettiere as Kirby. I like
Is
Kirby.
that the blonde chick?
Yeah. And
Yeah, she was a great character. I was so mad when she died.
She's so cute, man.
She was.
I like Kirby. I didn't want to see Kirby. Yeah.
Yeah, when she got it, I was pissed.
Kirby was cool.
What did you think about the opening with all the?
The fake out within the fake. Yeah, I thought that was great.
That was great. The fake out within the fake out. You know, you think that one? Yeah.
Right. That was good.
And once again, being meta, because Scream's always at the forefront of that. It was a film. It was a film that was addressing the remake sensation,
right?
Which was completely legit,
right?
And I mean, the remakes things are in full swing because we had just because it was 2011 when it came out, so we had just had the
Nightmare on Elm Street was the last one.
and Friday, before that, or we had 2 Halloweens.
Yep.
So
and then remember, she uses that as a question, and she broke down every remake
Yep.
that they had between since The Hills Have Eyes, since Texas Chain, all the way to Bloody Valentine, everything. She broke it down. Every remake that was made at that point in time, it was dope. I love that scene.
It was good.
I wasn't hating the teenage characters.
Nope, they were cool.
Yeah, the little stab team or the stab class or whatever.
Yeah, because they were kind of like the new generation of Randy.
Right.
The film
buffs
and stuff like that. I think I'm missing something. I liked Gale and Dewey's relationship again.
Right.
Oh,
the nurse. Not the nurse, the deputy.
The deputy. Lemon squares.
Yeah. By the way, your lemon squares taste like shit. Yeah, she's good. Again, good acting, good direction. That's the thing with these. They're not. The quality doesn't drop. The only thing is, I think the motivation of the killer drops in each of them. Even though I loved 4, but I just that's my thing with 3 and 2. I just a reach. But again, they're good movies, and I'll drop the remote to watch them, like especially 4.
I think the motivation is legit. I mean, they had the mother; she was angry,
right?
Because of Maureen Prescott's,
right. Had she done it alone, I would have been good with that.
But
I think the film buff and maybe the brother would have had a better dynamic. They would have had that friendship, maybe of being film buffs and nerds.
If back to 2, you look at Billy's mom. She's a kind of a middle-aged soccer mom, so she probably needed Timothy Olyphant as the muscle to do certain things that she couldn't get done.
Yeah, she carved up Randy real lovely.
Yeah.
You buying that?
I buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so when I was a teenager and I was already like 6'4", 6'5", my mom used to whip my ass like, saying like I owed her money. Like,
well,
if I was
you ain't
talking
touching
back.
mom though.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she had that mom strength. You know what I'm saying? That she was nice with the chancla. So maybe she was nice with the knife and the stew. You know what I'm saying? Like, moms is strong. You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
I think it's psychological too. But you're grown. Your mom knows you're stronger than her. But she knows you're not going to. You're a mother.
Right.
You touch your mother is like they got you there up there.
Yeah.
But 4 is good. 4, I like 4. I like 4.
I
like
love 4
a lot. I mean, I think some people had issues with it when it came out, and I'm
like, I didn't.
This is a wonderful movie. Yeah.
Anthony Anderson's death, I thought was strong. The other
fuck Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Yeah. The deaths in part 4, I thought was very strong.
Olivia's death. Olivia's the girl across from the house.
Yes, that was brutal.
You could see her guts and her intestines and whatnot.
They were not holding back on Scream 4.
Yeah. And then, of course, Anthony Anderson and the other cop,
right?
They were nowhere to be found in that scene.
So you think maybe, I'm saying, like you had no clue. Even the death of Sidney's agent.
Oh, yeah, in the parking garage.
The parking garage. That was brutal. That was a great scene, too. Sure. Very tense. And that's the thing that I love the most about that Wes Craven did in that franchise is the tension built and then the payoff. You know what I'm saying? So I think he did that well. Like I said, with the going back to that, my favorite scene is the cop car and also the car garage, the cop car in Scream 2 and then the car garage in Scream 4. I thought the build up and then the execution were just well done, on both of those.
Like I said, one reason why this franchise is so good because you had one guiding vision.
Right.
One vision. You know, it doesn't switch directors. At least,
Right.
You know, of course, this last one.
Right. Of course, and,
couldn't be helped. But you know, this is Wes guiding us from 1 all the way through 4.
Right.
And there is a consistency of quality.
Right.
In this series that I think people recognize. And he's a hell of a director. He was one hell of a director.
Oh no, he was one of my guys.
I mean, like when they talk about horror directors, if people put him over Carpenter, I ain't gonna put him in no argument. Much as I love John Carpenter,
Right.
I ain't gonna argue with someone that says, you know, I know my buddy Javon would definitely put Wes Craven, you know,
Carpenter over Craven,
over Carpenter,
right?
But
it's
legit.
like you know,
legit,
it's like you know, who do you got? Who's nicer, Muhammad Ali or Tyson? You know, what I'm saying it's one of those arguments where you're good either way. Who's better, Superman, Batman? You know,
Superman's better than Batman.
Here we go. I go bats, but anyway, but you know, what I'm saying it's like it's one of those arguments. You know, so.
You really think Ben Affleck won that fight? What did Henry Cavill say? If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
Right, of course.
He never wanted to kill Batman.
Yeah, he could have, you know, squished him, but no.
Oh, didn't mean to deviate off of something.
But yeah, no. So why do you hold Scream 4 in such regard?
I think just because of the aging process and the jump in years. I don't know if that's the biggest jump between the sequels or not. It's 11 years, right? So I don't know, man. And I enjoyed the storyline on it. The kills were dope, you know. And what's her name? Emma Roberts.
I also like the fact the final scene with Sidney and the cousin.
Yeah.
How it took place in somewhere that was different.
Sure.
You know, that's why the last episode, the ones that are similar yet different, like with the Texas Chain,
right?
Where I held the ones that were different in such high regards, and same thing with Scream, where the final scene in Scream 2 was the movie theater or the school theater. Excuse me,
which was dope.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
It was different. Not going back to the house again. That gets kind of tired to me. You know what I mean? And I like the fact it was in the hospital. It was different. It was very. She was. I couldn't believe how brutal she was. You know what I'm saying?
She was willing to give up.
Yeah,
know,
just to
cut
kill
herself
Sid.
Up and
Yeah,
bang
man.
herself
She
up,
was
you know?
so good. That was so well done.
Good.
Yeah.
So you got the jump from 2011. Damn, another 11 years.
Let me ask you a question before.
To this one.
Are we covering the TV series? I've never watched the series.
No, we're not covering it, but I watched 2 seasons of it. I liked him.
Okay. Maybe do you want to shed some
I don't know enough about them. I saw them once, but they were good, dude. Okay. I thought they were really good.
Okay.
So you got another jump of 11 years into this Scream 2022, right? You know?
Yeah.
That one I went and saw. It doesn't rank high on the list. It doesn't rank high on the list for me. It's probably number 5. We'll get to that, you know, for me. But I think it was good enough, especially without Wes. You know, it didn't blow me away. There was some stuff I didn't like to see. I didn't want to see Dewey die. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't care about what the rules are. I didn't want to see Dewey die.
I'm with you.
You know,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know we live in this age now where we, especially after going through Game of Thrones, we're so conditioned. We love seeing
our favorite characters die,
and I don't think that has to be the case all the time. I'm not saying that we, you know, not to completely get away from it, but there was always something really comforting and nice about those 3. I think together they're the strongest. Right. You know, I feel like, you know, when Dewey, Gale, and Sidney are together, there's nothing they can't accomplish.
Right.
And now part of that component, Dewey's really the heart of the team, and he's gone now.
Yep.
And what I want to come back to, I was talking about earlier. Now, moving forward, because they've already greenlit the sequel.
Right.
This is, I guess, in probably another 2 years, 2024, we'll get.
Right.
Moving forward, if nothing else, I hope they focus on how Gale's going to cope now.
Right, because she got over it a little quick in Scream 5.
Yeah, it was a little too quick. And
right.
I mean, granted, everything was going on.
Right,
you know, didn't really have time to really mourn.
Process
now that that's over, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where Gale's at, what state she's in when we come back to this next movie.
I saw all 3 of them in the theater, 1, 2, and 3. Right, so when Dewey is on the gurney in part 1. The audience erupted when you realize that it's right.
Yeah, I was trying to finish something.
Oh, sorry.
But I just want to see. I'm really curious how she's going to cope with that in the next movie because, you know, I think one of the cool things about those characters, I think Dewey always brought out the best in Gale.
Right.
And that's gone now, and it could be interesting because Gale and Sidney weren't always the best of friends. Remember, Sidney couldn't stand Gale. I mean, things had changed over the years, and they're sisters in arms.
It took a while,
but to see them two, you know, deal with whatever the next threat is without Dewey is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because she's going to be by herself while Sidney has her family and her kids wherever they live. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she's going to be with her. You know, she's not alone.
Allegedly, because maybe he didn't die. You know, look at Halloween 2018, right? Will Patton. I mean, you never.
That's because a penknife doesn't penetrate. So
you never know. I don't know if they confirmed it in the movie. Did they? They
haven't had a funeral, but again, so like, you know, he's so beloved. I remember it was like going to a sports event.
Yeah.
When he's on the gurney and puts his hand up like he's okay on 1 and 2. I mean, everyone just went. It was like,
even in the beginning of 2 when he's limping onto campus.
Right. Oh yeah, everyone cheered for him.
I think Dewey might have been the most beloved character.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And so, like I said, I was, you know, and there's nothing wrong. You know, if a writer is doing his or her job, I think you're going to have a bit of an emotional reaction when you lose a character you latch onto. That's their job, to make you care about these characters enough to come back and see their latest escapade or adventure. And you know, I guess we're not going to get Dewey anymore, Dewey Riley, and that's going to be kind of sad because, you know, I like that character, man.
A lot.
Dewey was cool, man. Dewey was the man.
Yeah, he was the man.
You know, so hey, you know, give love to you, David Arquette. You know, if you're watching this podcast, man.
I don't think old girl carves him up like that, but okay.
You know.
Yeah, part I had a bad. I'm
sorry.
He bucked her, and you know, she's a 90-pound, you know, girl, and I'm not being sexist or anything like that. Even me as a 300-pound man, if I get shot and I'm wearing a vest, I'm gonna be incapacitated for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna be knocked back. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be hard for me to get up.
Right.
To even maneuver. You know what I'm saying? And for her.
Well, here's the thing too, and me and you and I had this talk, Mike. You know, go ahead, finish.
Go ahead.
You and I had this talk, Mike, and I still see where you're coming from, but she had the element of surprise. That's the only reason why I would somewhat give it up to her, because, you know, if Dewey had not stood over her kind of in a vulnerable position with his kind of like his abdomen all kind of wide open.
Yeah.
I had to see the movie again, but I remember like he was standing over to make sure she was dead, and that's when she got him. You know.
That's fair.
So she's already stabbed him and he's wounded.
Right.
So, you know, he's already, you know, hurt, and, you know, his strength levels probably dropped already by 50%. So from that point, it's pretty easy to kind of subdue him and finish him off.
What did you guys think of the reasoning of the whole wham? You know what I mean?
I thought it was the weakest.
Run it by me again. I saw it once in theater.
Okay, so they just wanted to do a requel, and they wanted just to have a better version of part 1, and so they had the boyfriend again of the killer, Sidney Prescott's original killer. And it was just such a reach, and that's my whole point of them not continuing this franchise. It just becomes more of a reach, and it becomes harder to find people that got beef with Sidney. You know what I'm saying? So they had to go to Loomis's daughter, and it was just a major reach. Now, even the thing that I get points on, and I've been giving Texas Chain points, and I gave Halloween Kills points, is the kills on this one were excellent. So at this point, it's just, am I just watching it just for that, which sucks. I mean, those are great, but it doesn't have the lasting effect of, say, Halloween 2.
Definitely wasn't feeling the Skeet Ulrich flashbacks.
Right. Oh, no, I hate that.
Right.
The Skeet Ulrich, you know, they never went supernatural. They never went where there's ghosts and all that. They try to dabble in that in 3.
That's right,
well, they try to dabble in that in 3, but it failed miserably, and that's why 3 is one of the weakest, or the weakest.
What part? When Sidney was asleep on the couch?
Yeah, the shit with the ghost and all that. That was that was special effects.
That was a dream.
That was a dream.
Yeah,
oh, that was a special effects.
See, I think what you're trying to say is like an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. That's not what's happening. Because I think what the daughter was, she just started thinking about who her father was, and she kind of tapped into that dark side that Billy has to overcome the latest Ghostface.
As he looked back then, you know, he looked how he looked back in '96.
Right.
So just depends how. It's all up for interpretation. We'll never know.
I thought that was whack to me.
If I get out of here early enough, I might just go pick it up.
It just reminded me of Dexter talking to his dad in the show Dexter. You know, saying where, you know, he's the moral compass for Dexter. He argues with that character. She's doing the same thing. It just, again, for a movie that always pushes the envelope in change and being different, to go back to these tire tropes, sucks.
Yeah. I thought too when Gale and Sidney were out in front of the house, and old girl runs out, and they look at each other and go, "What do you think? Fake or
right?"
And then they're like, "Yeah, it's fake or whatever."
Yeah.
And I thought, now you're reaching even more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what they do. I'm going to go see if they do 10 more. I'm going to go see 10 more.
Right, of course. We're horror fanatics. We're glutton for punishment.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I have a point where I have to stop. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for me, like perfect example was I didn't bother none of the Rob Zombie Halloweens. At least I didn't pay for them. I forgot when because I felt like Halloween didn't need to be remade. So when the first one came out in 2007, there was a film called Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen.
Oh, that was fun.
And I always thought it was really cool. And then I went to theaters again, but I paid for Shoot 'Em Up, but walked over and watched Halloween. Mm-hmm. Cause I wasn't going to put my money in the give Rob Zombie my money. Mm-hmm. Not for that. And Halloween 2 was the same way. I was watching something else. I just walked in. So yeah, I did watch it, but I wasn't going to pay for it.
Well.
I mean, where can they go at this point? Like, honestly, like, where can you go? Who could be the next killer? It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to call it right now. Dewey's coming back.
You might.
I'm going to say it right now.
I tell you where you can go. Just stop. I mean, sometimes you just need to stop and just let it go and leave it.
Is it going to be Sidney's husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Is it going to be Sidney at one point?
No. Yeah, you know how upset the fans will be if Sidney's the main killer. You know what I'm saying? They're never going to forgive this franchise if they do that. Now, I want to give props to 5 is the director and the writer, which were not Wes Craven nor Kevin Williamson. They studied, and you would not know the difference. Like, if it wasn't, to the blind fan that doesn't know anything, that watches all of them, you would think the same director and the same writer wrote all 5 of them, because that's how well they executed the dialogue, I felt, in 5. The whole requel thing where they break down requels in what's his name's Jesse. I'm sorry. I just like Vito says, the senior moment. Who's the movie buff from the original?
Okay, Randy Meeks.
Okay, so Randy Meeks'
sister.
The sisters, his nephew and niece, the twins.
Yeah.
When they broke down the requel thing, that just sounded like Kevin Williams' dialogue, even though it wasn't.
Right.
That's how good it was. So I give them props on that. The kills on this one were brutal. That opening scene where she's doing the thing with the phone and she talks about how she likes like advanced horror and all that.
Yeah.
The way they bang on that chick hard. Like, I felt horrible for her, and the fact that she was alive, I thought was a nice twist.
Right.
I just thought the kills and the violence and the carnage was just impeccable. And same thing again, I give it props, but at the same time, the story is what makes these slashers. People think, slasher fans just want carnage and guts. That's not true. If that was the case, Slumber Party Massacre would be amongst them. You know what I'm saying? Like movies like, but it was the story from Nightmare on Elm Street. It was a story from Friday the 13th. Scream is one of those that has such strong characters that when you lose a Dewey or you lose a Randy, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Even the chick, the one from part 4, she wasn't around a lot. We didn't have a lot of invested, but she was so well written that you liked her. You know what I mean? Kirby, yeah.
Played the Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah. So that's the thing with this one. They're all quality movies. I
don't think you can compare Scream to Friday the 13th. I think Scream's a far better quality of spirit films than.
No, I'm talking about Screams are all quality.
Yeah.
All 5 of them, they're all well made. You know what I'm saying? All 5.
I mean, because as much as I like Halloween's got some humdingers in there in the franchise.
Oh yeah. Halloween 5. And,
really,
don't even get me started.
Really bad characters.
Resurrection. Don't even get me started.
Shout out Buster Bus. All right.
Well, so let's do our rankings.
Yeah.
You want to set it or?
Yeah. Have Corey start it off.
Oh man, how would I rank these, man? They're overall still enjoyable films, so I would go with. For some reason, I'm going to say I'm going to go with 4. I'd go 4, 1, 4, 1, 2, and then the 5th one.
And then 3.
Sorry. 4, 1, 2, 3, and then the 5th one. Yeah.
Okay. I got 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. So I got number 1, from the original, because again, in my opinion, you don't need him. And then I got 4, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
I go 2 because of that scene. I just think it's so well executed. Again, I'm gonna go back to the car scene. I just think it's so well done.
Yeah.
Everything, it's so good. And then 5, I thought the kills were excellent. And then 3 is just 3.
I'm gonna go with Corey. My order's the same: 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, as it stands now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you wanted to mention?
Yeah. So if you guys want, there's a franchise for Horror Quarters to review. We have 3 that we're contemplating. A Nightmare on Elm Street to round out the big 3, because we did Halloween,
Right.
we did Friday the 13th. So A Nightmare on Elm Street's on the table, Child's Play's on the table, and then we go into some horror sci-fi with the Alien franchise.
See,
Well, I can roll with you on two of the 3. Yeah, I can't roll with you on Child's Play. I don't know nothing about that franchise. Quite frankly, I'm not going to waste. I'm not going to spend time watching that franchise. Sorry, I just not down with Chucky. So, but the Elm Street films I can roll with. The Alien films I'm cool with. Phantasm's another one. I can roll with Phantasm easy.
all right.
So
We'll
I
see.
think Phantasm deserves a look. Phantasm, is very underrated.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see what we can get to, but I'm gonna have to close this out now.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, thanks fellas for
Always.
coming out again.
Thank you, Mike, and everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching.